Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to Hoop Ball NBA Tonight live stream. I'm your host, Doug. You can find me at KY Pro Basketball on Twitter. I'm joined with our typical host here and a member of Hoop Ball, one of our pros, Will. How you doing, Will?
Good. Great to be here with you guys.
Good
It's a great day, and just hopefully we can see Santino's face today at some point.
You got Santino. He's with us in spirit, and he's got his audio working. His camera's having some issues here today, but technical difficulties. We'll work through it as the show goes on. So let's get started though on tonight's live stream. So we are on episode 5 of our NBA expansion draft protection of players. For those who don't know, last week Sorio was on here in place of myself, and we skipped over the Lakers and instead added in his Milwaukee Bucks that he's a fan of. And we did that so that I and also Santino could discuss the Lakers. So we're going to start off tonight with the Lakers. But before we get into the NBA protections, there's a couple things in the news. It's looking at a return at the end of July. However, it sounds like there's a group of players that are not so sure that that's the right move, and that they're hesitating to start back up in Orlando. Did you guys hear that?
Yeah,
I did hear that.
It's a touchy subject.
Right.
I mean, you gotta. At this point, most of the people are ready to go and want to play basketball. They already got the fans and everybody excited that there will be sports soon. But I mean, I understand people not wanting to go at the same time.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, some things are bigger than basketball, so we'll see if they can accomplish what they're trying to, and see how it goes. All we can do is wait and see.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Matt Barnes came out today, and he said basically, for those who don't know, those who haven't heard, they're saying there was 24 players that were on a teleconference today with the NBA and the NBA Players Association in regards to not starting the league back in Orlando and Disney World. And they're kind of contributing to a couple of things. Obviously, the coronavirus is still a thing out there. However, also the George Floyd Memorial is what they're kind of basing this new information off of. So, is it right to play? Like Will said, there's some things that are bigger than basketball. So if you remember back when Kobe passed, there were a couple of players that felt that they couldn't play, but everybody kind of went out and did their best effort because that's what Kobe would have wanted, So with this new development, we'll see what happens. They had that meeting today. We'll see what kind of news comes out, what kind of word we get. So I'm hoping they start back.
And speaking of the Lakers, who we're going to get into first, Doug, did you hear, or Will, did you guys hear about DeMarcus Cousins?
I did, yeah.
The Heat and Lakers are both interested in re-signing him. The Lakers obviously released him because he wasn't going to be healthy for the playoffs, but this, 4-month delay kind of gives him a shot to maybe play at some point. That would be a huge addition to, I think, more so the Lakers again, than even though McGee and Howard have been playing well, they need that third scorer. I don't know how well he'll fit with the Heat if he did chose that route, but the Lakers can definitely use him.
Yeah, absolutely.
See, I disagree. I don't think the Lakers need him. They have Dwight and JaVale. They've been doing great all year, and they got Anthony Davis. They're already loaded up front. So the Heat, like when Bam is out of the game, they have to go to Kelly Olynyk and, guys like Myers Leonard like that. He would be able to get a lot more minutes for Miami, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right there, but at the same time, that's why we have the three of us on here. We never seem to all three agree on stuff, right? So, and that's good. That's what you want. We all agree to disagree on some things. But I agree. I mean, Miami Heat and the Lakers are both have interest in DeMarcus Cousins. Now, some people are saying, well, why not go out and sign somebody like a Jamal Crawford or the guy from Indiana? I can't think of his name now, but he retired actually from basketball. But the reason why they can't go and sign those guys is because they were never on. Yeah, Darren Collison. They were never on an NBA roster this year. So you have to be on an NBA roster this year. And like Santino said, DeMarcus Cousins was on the roster at the beginning of the year for the Lakers. So he has that option, that possibility to come back for actually any team that wants to sign him. It just so happens that he's been with the Lakers. He's been on that group chat with the Lakers for this entire season. So on their text chat that they have between the players. So
yeah, we know that Cousins and AD can play together because they have in the past, and they were pretty successful at that.
And Rondo as well. He's the third
and
person.
he likes those two guys. Him and Rondo got along great. To Will's point, I do not think that him and Bam could really play together. I don't know. I don't truly see Bam shifting to the 4 or vice versa, and then having Cousins just he has a lot of leg problems. I see him slowly coming back up the court. I don't know how he'd fit on that team, but a scoring big man, both of them can use it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, also, when he played with Golden State, he wasn't himself. Like even with the Pelicans, he wasn't Sacramento Boogie Cousins. So he's far removed from being a star player like he used to. So I think he's going to play a role like JaVale McGee or Dwight Howard. Like he's probably going to play 20 minutes a game either way. I don't think he's going to be anywhere close to a double-double or anything like that.
Right. There was a time when DeMarcus Cousins was a $200 million player,
Beast. He was a beast.
And that was before the injury started. And it's just he's had a very bad series of injuries, one after the other, compounding that it just really hasn't been good for him. So speaking of the Lakers, let's go ahead and roll right into our LA Laker protections. So we have a total of 8 players that we can keep. It looks like the Lakers have about 9 or 10 players that are actually on contract for next year. Now, the players that they don't have under contract for next year, which we cannot select or cannot protect, is Jared Dudley, Elmer Fudd there from Looney Tunes, Dwight Howard, which has been really, really beneficial for the Lakers this year. Unfortunately, he is a free agent next year. He will have a pretty good contract, I think, coming in next year, and he'll have his run-of-the-mill on the what team he wants to go to. Markieff Morris and Dion Waiters are the other 2 that are going to be free agents next year. And then you have their 2 two-way players with Devontae Cacok and Costas Antetokounmpo, which are not eligible for the protections under this program and this draft protection that we're working off of here for Hoop Ball. So let's go ahead and get started in, guys. Will, you want to take the first selection of player that you want to protect as being the GM and president of basketball operations?
Well, I mean, I would love for Santino to take this and go first, but he'll be back in a minute, I'm sure. There he goes right there. Santino.
I'm having technical difficulties. I think Will sabotaged it because he knew how excited I was to talk about the Lakers, and now he has an even chance to kick out LeBron, which has been his plan for a few weeks now. So I think it's on him.
We would love for LeBron to go into the player pool. I just don't think that's going to happen.
I know, right? But Santino, since you're the guest here, Doug's hosting, you're the second Laker fan. I was going to go first. I'm going to give you the honors to go first and select the first player we're keeping on the Lakers.
Oh, thank you. Oh, I like it. So I get the first player to pick on the Lakers.
Yep.
That's an honor. There are 11 available players that we can pick. The first one I'll go with.
Those.
Yeah, I heard you in the backstage for some reason.
Oh, okay.
I tried to turn my mic back on and it just kicked me out instead. Not my mic, my camera. I don't know what's going on with it. But I'll take first overall. I guess we'll take JaVale McGee.
Wow. Okay.
For $4 million.
Inside joke we were doing last week, Doug. So go ahead, Santino.
Yeah, last week we were us 3, me, Will, and Soria. We kind of let Giannis last to number 8. I don't know if we should do that for this week in case Will has the 8th pick and he kicks out AD or LeBron. I don't know.
Gotta think about that.
But JaVale McGee, he's only making $4 million next year. He's been a really good, competent center. Even if they bring in Cousins, he should next year makes sense for him to keep $4 million. He's probably going to outplay. He's outplaying that right now, but he's one of their keepers.
Okay, yeah, I agree. I think that's a good choice. Let me ask you this though, and for competition purposes here, if you had to pick one of 2 players to keep on the team in any scenario, and you had the last 2 players of options was Dwight Howard and JaVale McGee, who do you think would benefit on the Lakers roster? Who do you think would be the better pickup there?
Wow, that's a good one. Depends on how much money Dwight Howard wants, which shouldn't be that much. Right now, he's not under contract next year, but he's only making 2.5 this year.
Right.
Pretty much half of JaVale McGee. I mean, he looked a little spry this year. He's having so much fun. So I want to lean Howard, but yeah, I think McGee's just the better player at this stage of his career.
Okay. Very good.
I like Dwight Howard, so I mean, I might be biased though, but I would choose him.
Okay. Well, let me throw some stats out there at you guys then. So one player has 7.5 points and 7.4 total rebounds with 1.2 blocks. The other player has 6.8 points, so just a little less, 1.5 blocks, so just a little more, and 5.8 total rebounds, which is just a little less. So the player with the most rebounds and the most points actually goes to Dwight Howard. JaVale McGee actually has 1.5 blocks, so it's just a little bit more, edged him out. And Dwight Howard has actually played more minutes, 3 more minutes per game than JaVale McGee. So fun fact there, looks like the Lakers kind of favored Dwight Howard there quite a bit. So
I do think you need both though, because I don't think either of them can play 30+ minutes. So like them splitting the game, it works pretty good for them.
Yeah, no, I agree fully. I think it's a great combination. It's Dwight McGee is the best player on the team if you combine the two of them. I think certainly the best big man out there. So, all right, so we got JaVale McGee as our first keeper. I'm not going to let my boy slip to 8th. I don't want to risk the option of Will stomping on his name. For those who don't know, my wife is actually from Akron, Ohio. So she would be a little upset if I didn't pick her hometown boy of LeBron James. So I'm going to pick LeBron up. Still 35 years of age, going into the 36-year-old player. He's still MVP in my personal opinion in the league total. You got Giannis and Harden that are in the running, but I think LeBron James, for all he's doing at his age, is still the face of the league, and he is the MVP of the league and the team. So LeBron James will be my pick there.
He's going to he's going to keep being in that MVP conversation. Will.
Yeah. I mean, it's no debate there. I mean, we don't even have to discuss that. I mean, he's amazing. It's incredible the rate he's going at the age he's going. No brainer.
Agreed.
Ooh,
well, I'll just go ahead on to the next guy. I'm going to leave Santino a gem. So I'm going to go with Kyle Kuzma.
I knew you were going to say Kuz.
Making chump change this year. Next year, still $3.5 million. He's only 24 years old. He's got the potential to be, primetime player. I think he should have played more minutes this year, but I think, they're working out the kinks and everything with LeBron and AD, trying to make AD happy so he doesn't leave. But I think he's definitely a must keep.
Agreed. I've been a huge Kyle Kuzma fan ever since he got into the league. Definitely saw some star potential with that kid. 24 years of age. He still has the 5th highest played minutes per game, and believe it or not, he is the 3rd highest scorer on the team at 12.5 points. So they said 1, 2, 3, LeBron, Anthony, and Kyle, and that's kind of what it turned out to be with the points. He still played a lot of minutes, but I agree he does need some more minutes. I think he's going to be big for their future. He really needs to pull it together, though. He really needs to show something.
I just don't think he fits with Anthony Davis. To be honest, I like Kuzma as a player, and he's only making $1 million and he's just over $1 million, but he doesn't. LeBron is a power forward at heart. AD is a power forward at heart. Kyle Kuzma is a power forward at heart. He just doesn't fit with this team. I wish we could have that trade back and give Kyle Kuzma instead of a Lonzo Ball, instead of a Brandon Ingram, instead of a Josh Hart, to be honest. But they really wanted him.
Yeah, you got me on the first two. Josh Hart's good, but I think that he was definitely 4th on that group of names, in my opinion.
I still like Kuzma better than Lonzo Ball, too.
Oh, come on.
No. I don't like Alonzo Ball. He's no. He's Rajon Rondo, like the cheaper version.
Yeah, Ball is not life.
And Rondo has won some championships. Rondo has been good for teams, so
Yeah, he's not that. He'll never be that Rondo.
Yeah,
he's the 34-year-old Rondo.
Okay,
come on, you're crazy.
I don't like Alonzo Ball. Sorry.
All right, Santino, let's roll into number 3. Who you got?
Will. I guess I'll just take him now. Anthony Davis, there's no question about it. He's a top 5 player in this league. Probably the best big man in the league. I said probably because I'm being nice to everybody else. Well, I don't know what I can say that's not great about him, except that injuries are a concern with him. That's it. When he's injured, he's hurting his team. When he's not, he's one of the best players that's on the court, game in, game out, and that's pretty much the only negative I could say on him.
Yeah, I agree. And some people are probably listening to this going, wait, time out. I thought Anthony Davis was a free agent next year. And technically, he's not a free agent. He's got a player option of $28 million next year. And everybody knows he's probably going to opt out of that.
Yeah.
And at that point in a free agency. But right now, according to the rules we're playing by, he is not a free agent next year. And, he has the option to opt into his player contract. So he is going to be protected, like Santino said.
He's definitely opting out and cashing in on a long-term contract. But
absolutely. He's going to be a big-time free agent for sure.
He might leave for Chicago. You never know.
Just hating on it. Hating on LA.
Yeah.
I wish I didn't have this avatar.
Loud showing some love for Lonzo Ball. I can't accept that, but go ahead. Go ahead, Loud. Doug.
All right. So I'm going to go with this individual, and a lot of people are, kind of hating on him, but I don't think he's been given the minutes and the potential that he's deserved in LA.
You better not say it.
No, I'm going to say it. I'm going to say Danny Green. And
okay, all right.
Okay, yeah, Danny Green. I think Danny Green's got a lot of potential. He's got a lot for this team. I don't think that he's been given the position that he really excels in LA yet. Hopefully that comes, and I think during the playoffs we'll definitely see that. But he's a great veteran. He's a great champion in the past. He's won some championships. He's got that mentality. So I think he's going to be a good keeper. He's a little pricey. I think at $15 million from what he's shown thus far in LA. But for what his potential is, I think $15 million is a pretty bargain contract for him for next year. So Danny Green will be my next pick for the keeper for that.
I like Danny Green, but at 30, he'll be 33 next year. I think that is too much money. Like you could bring in someone else, but I'm fine with keeping him because you also need a spot up 3-point shooter. So
right. And Kyle Kuzma hasn't proved that he can do that yet, even though he says it.
I think you have to keep Green. 15 is a little bit. But, I mean, they're going to be paying Anthony Davis $37 to $40 million. Once he opts out and they have to pay him that contract, they're not going to have any money to really get anybody else besides the bargain bin free agents and maybe DeMarcus Cousins on another cheap contract. Right. So, I mean, $15 million is a lot, but it's a lot better than your alternatives after you pay Davis and you have LeBron under contract for $80 million each total.
And to be honest with you, I think, it hasn't really been said yet with the loss of revenue this year. I really think that the salary cap is going to go down. Typically it goes up a few mil each year. I think it's going to go down this year with the loss of revenue due to the coronavirus and the block. But we'll see how this postseason goes. We'll see how that works out. But if it goes down, then it's going to be hard for some of these free agents contract this year. They may have to do a 1 year, or Anthony Davis may pray to the God he could opt into that contract that he's got and then go to bigger the following year. But we'll see. We'll see how that works out.
Yeah, as long as he's in LA, purple and gold, we're good.
Right. And Danny Green is the fourth highest played player at 25.1 minutes per game thus far this year for the Lakers. So I think they'll keep him for sure.
All right. I mean, it's getting to slim pickings. It's not really that many people worth keeping.
I know you're
left,
about to say.
but, I'm gonna surprise you. I'm gonna go with
Cook.
No, I'm not picking Quinn Cook. I'm gonna go with Avery Bradley. I think he's important for defense for the team. He's a gritty player, does all the things that LeBron needs to rest on defense for. And I mean, for $5 million next year, that's worth it.
Okay.
Scored about 11, 12 points a game.
I mean, as a Lakers fan, what do you think of Avery Bradley?
I think he's a pretty good basketball player overall. They need someone at the 2-guard spot to lock down either a point guard or a 2-guard. So I like him there. It's a player option, I think, for 5 next year, which is not bad. And if they don't have enough money left, then you'd want to keep him.
Mm.
They do have a gluttony of point guards right now, so they can get rid of one of those three. So not too bad of a keep there.
So how many we have right now? 6?
Yeah,
2,
we got
4,
6.
6. Yep.
Yeah. So looks like it's is it my turn?
Santino, I think.
Santino. Okay.
That was me?
Santino. Yeah. Go ahead.
It's only maybe 2 people left.
Yeah, I like the rest of the point guards. I don't mind KCP either. I know a lot of Laker fans hate him. I don't want to keep him for $8.5 million, but if he was making what the point guards on this roster were making, I definitely say keep him. But any of those 3, I'm fine with. I know Will doesn't like any of them, but we're gonna go with the fan favorite and Alex Caruso. You gotta keep his enthusiasm and his hype and his one dunk every week that just gets everybody going.
Pumped. Yeah, and whenever you look at it, the 2 players that have played the most together and scored the most points, the efficiency rating of Alex Caruso and LeBron James beats everything that Anthony Davis and LeBron James or Danny Green and LJ or anybody else. Alex Caruso and LeBron James have their efficiency rating is the highest when they play together. So at 2.7 mil next year, it's a no-brainer for me. I think that's a great choice, Alex Caruso.
And he's only 26. I swear it seems like he's like 31 or 32. But
it's because his balding hair is what he's got.
I guess so.
A lot of people are actually saying that he should be starting as the point guard.
He probably should.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see how the playoffs go here. All right. So it looks like we're down to Rajon Rondo, Quinn Cook, and Kentavious Caldwell-Pope.
I do have a question on this. Before we pick,
it's only one choice here.
So Dion Waiters is technically being paid by the Grizzlies. Would he? And he's under contract for next year. Would he count in this cap for
according to Basketball Reference and the contracts that I'm looking at, Dion Waiters is on a $500,000 contract for this year, and next year he is not on contract, according to their website.
All right. Oh, maybe they just they counted the buyout because I know he had next year. Maybe they.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Maybe Memphis is paying him next year.
Yeah,
as something, but so I don't know how that's working out. But Luol Deng is being paid next year, though.
Yeah,
he's getting paid for next year and 21 to 22. So,
dang.
No kidding. So you think there's one choice here, huh?
Yep.
Oh man. So I did the pickings. It came down to me. It came down to Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Quinn Cook, and Avery Bradley. And I looked at all 3 of those players as my last of the bucket. And to be honest with you, as much as people don't like Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, he's actually played pretty decent minutes when it comes to, he's played more minutes than Danny Green, Kyle Kuzma, Avery Bradley, all of them. He's the 3rd highest played minute player on the team at 9 points. But his 3-point percentage is really what everybody touts about him. And he's got the highest 3-point percentage on the team other than Dwight Howard, believe it or not. Dwight Howard has a 600 percentage. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope is at a 394. That's the highest on the team. So I'm going to go with Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, even though his contract is $8 million. Like Santino said, once we get Anthony Davis that big money, it's going to be hard to get some players that can actually contribute and be a good role player on this team. I think Kentavious Caldwell-Pope has his place. It took him a while to find it, but playing with LeBron, it does take some people some time to find their place. So I'm going to say Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. That's my opinion. What do you guys think?
Definitely not. I can't go with that. He's been on this team like the last 4 years and made like $75 million. Hasn't done much at all. He's only scoring like 1 more point a game than Avery Bradley, making $5 million. I just can't. I can't.
I like KCP.
So who would you pick? Who's left? When you said there's only one choice left, you saying Quinn Cook? Because you certainly aren't saying Rajon Rondo.
The one person you didn't name, Rajon Rondo.
Oh, I thought you hated Rondo.
I love Rondo.
No way.
Playoff Rondo.
Wait. You just said you hated Lonzo Ball, but he is a Rajon Rondo, and now you love
Rajon. I said he's a cheap Rajon.
You love Lonzo Ball. We have it on record. No. We have it on record. Everyone. It's there. You can't take it back.
So you select Rajon Rondo over KCP or Quinn Cook?
Definitely, because I mean, playoff Rondo is a different animal too, and you need that experience. You need
when's the
someone
last
to help.
time we saw playoff Rondo? When's
With
the
the
last
Bulls,
time Rondo
probably
was in the
with the
playoffs?
Pelicans. I mean,
The Pelicans weren't in the playoffs.
he made the playoffs with the Pelicans.
Okay, 1 year. All right.
Yeah, 1 year, and then with the Bulls,
They went far, didn't they?
The Bulls almost beat the Celtics. I mean, I love Rondo. What you got, Santino?
I mean, I like Rondo too. I like Quinn Cook as well. I like this team. I like KCP. I don't really have anything bad to say.
Take your fandom out of it.
The only
fans. I'm trying to help the fans. Okay.
If I had to pick, I would take out KCP just because keeping him is going to skyrocket them into the luxury tax next year. Yeah. I know I said they wanted to keep Danny Green, but I like Danny Green better as an all-around player. And then it would be down to Quinn Cook and Rondo. We're talking about playoffs. I'm going to go with the guy with more championship pedigree and Quinn Cook. Yes, I said it.
Oh my God.
I mean, he's a better shooter. He's a better floor spacer. Something Rondo really can't do. Rondo played well. Him and Dwight Howard really played well in the second unit. I don't know. I just like.
I could go with Quinn Cook over Rondo. And
I think you can get Rondo back next year on the same deal, on a 1 year deal like this at $2 million, rather than you can get, or easier than you can get Quinn Cook. So I would be down for that.
Rondo 8, almost 9 assists a game. Quinn Cook 3 assists a game. And Quinn Cook, he seems to show up small under pressure to me.
9 assists a game. What was that? Like 4 years ago?
That's what I'm seeing.
I'm seeing 5 assists per game.
What are you looking at LeBron's stats or?
I'm just
5 assists per game for Rondo.
Maybe you're looking at Lonzo Balls. I got
it. Maybe.
But to your point, Quinn Cook is at a 1.1 according to the same website. So minutes played obviously goes to Rondo at 20.5 versus 10. So they're about on the same contract. Quinn Cook's just younger, and I agree with Santino. I would take Quinn Cook over Rondo for that money. So 2 against 1, brother. So it looks like
either way, you need to upgrade your point guards. Either way, okay.
Yeah, give Alex Caruso more minutes. We got it.
So what about this THT, Taylor Horton Tucker? What do you guys think about him?
No, nothing about him.
He can go in the player pool.
Yeah,
I agree. He hasn't played any minutes for the Lakers this year. He's been on a G League contract with them.
Yeah.
So I think that he'd be staying there as well.
So him, Rondo, and KCP going to the player pool.
There you go. You got it, brother. So there we go. There's our answer for the Lakers. Rondo, Taylor Horton Tucker, and KCP are going into the players pool. Official. Put a stamp on it. Moving on. All right, guys. So we jumped around a little bit. We did Lakers. We did Milwaukee last week. So now we're going to go on to the famed Miami Heat.
Yeah, we're back on in order now.
Back on order. Yes, that is correct. Back in order. So we got Miami Heat. Looks like the Miami Heat are they got a few players that looks like we can keep, but not a whole lot.
Not a lot.
Contract. Yeah, not a lot. Next year under contract. There's not under contract rather. Goran Dragic is going to be a free agent. Solomon Hill is a free agent. Myers Leonard, Jay Crowder, Udonis Haslem is finally going to be a free agent. You think he'll get picked up by the Miami Heat?
Oh my God, he's still on contract.
Yep. And Derek Jones. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We have 9 players that are under contract next year for the Miami Heat.
Yeah, it's slim pick, and we can keep up to 8, so it's slim pickings.
Yeah. So we either keep 8 or we keep less, but either way, there's at least going to be 1 player that goes into the player pool. So.
Yep.
And per regulations, that's the way.
Will's going to put the people I think should go in the player pool. He's going to fight for them, and I know it.
Yeah, like 3 guys I never heard of.
Exactly right. Yeah.
Let me kick it off. I'm gonna go with the young stud Tyler Hero. He's a fan favorite. 20 years old. He's never scared. Just goes out there. He takes control of the game. He thinks he's LeBron James in his first game. I love Tyler Hero.
What college did he go to?
Where'd he go?
Oh, really? Come on now.
Where'd he go?
Baby. Kentucky. Kentucky. Big Blue Nation.
If it's not Carolina, I don't know. So
he went to the before he joined the Miami Heat, he was at the 31st NBA team in the league, the UK Wildcats.
Yeah, I like that.
So yes, very good. I agree. Tyler Hero is a great choice. Young stud. Jimmy Butler loves him. He's said nothing but great things about this kid. I think he's definitely going to be with the team for a long, long time. Good choice.
We need a hero. I just had that song came in my head.
Wow. Do us a favor, Santino. Never sing that again. Okay. All right. Who you got, Santino?
We just lost the best player on the team, so let me think. I'm just kidding. I'm going to take another guy with a nice last name, Nunn, Kendrick Nunn.
Good choice. Great choice.
Got to.
What was he making? A little over $1 million next year, $1.5 million next year.
Right.
Team option. I wonder if they pick that one up.
Absolutely. He really came out of nowhere. And in fact, he was actually from the G League at the end of last year, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Yeah, he came
definitely was in the G League.
He came out of nowhere this year. No one expected that. And he's running away with the Rookie of the Year. Well, not anymore. He started running away in the first 2 months.
Yeah.
I should say he has the most player of the month as a rookies on the year. So it's going to be close, but John Morant's going to take that. And I assume Zion Williamson might get more votes as well, just because the guy's been unbelievable.
Yeah, if he can get the Pelicans into the 8th seed of the playoffs, I think he'd get a lot of votes for that Rookie of the Year. But yeah, you're right. John Morant is another state of Kentucky player out of Murray State. He's a phenomenal player. I think right now you're right, a Rookie of the Year. So. All right, so I'm going to go with a player who, to be honest with you, I had never heard of until he started playing this year in the league, and that's Duncan Robinson. Great three-point shooter, really came in and just showed his dominance. He actually had that starting spot for a while there. Whether or not he deserved it or not is one thing, but he did great things, and I think that they're going to be keeping him for a while longer too. Very good player. He's on a $1.6 million contract next year. Same exact contract that Kendrick Nunn's under. He's under as well. He's on there for the minimum level exception, mid-level exception. So Duncan Robinson, my player for the keeper for the Miami Heat.
Yeah, no question. Amazing three-point shooter. Like really came into his own this year. Him and Kendrick Nunn. After next year, they're both going to get double-digit $1 million contracts. So
absolutely,
he can shoot.
Miami's really developing players very well.
Yes, agreed.
Yeah, this guy could shoot. Wow, like he could shoot, and if you can shoot, you can stay in the league for as long as you can't shoot anymore.
Exactly.
So there's always a spot. Just like a guy who's 7 foot, there's always a spot. Well, I shouldn't say that. Hashim
used to be like that.
Yeah, he used to be like that. That's what 7 foot is now. If you can shoot, you can stay in this league.
Right. Yeah, and he's pretty big too.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and go with the heart and soul of the team, Jimmy Butler. You know, he's gonna be making around $36 million the next 3 years, but they're not paying anybody else really. And I mean, he made that team a decent team to a contending team. You know, they really evolved this year. I think he got them all, working hard at work ethic. I know he was coming in to practice at 3 a.m. and stuff like that. So I think he really changed the team, and that he's much needed. So he's worth the money.
Agreed.
I disagree. I think he's. I'm just kidding.
Making my heart skip a beat. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, he's a stud. He is the alpha dog on this team. They wouldn't be here without him, even though they do have another all-star there, but they wouldn't be here without him.
Yep. Speaking of the next all-star.
Oh, it's my turn?
It's your turn, yes.
It's on you.
Yeah, I guess I will take the easy way out and take Bam Bam, because Bam Bam has turned into one of the premier centers in this league. He literally does everything on the court. He is a great defender. He can pass the ball. He's probably one of the top 3 best passing big men in the game. This guy can score down low. You love everybody. I mean, that's why he recruits all these top stars. But Bam
You know
Bam is
Seattle is going to get some of these players too, right?
Yeah, I know. I do know that.
when we're
I would
on.
love for Bam to go into the player pool, but no, he definitely.
I want to be on Team Seattle just so I could steal all the
Yeah.
Kentucky players.
Me
Yeah,
and
that's
Santino go be on Team Seattle.
Oh, come on.
We're gonna go out of our way to pick Kentucky guys.
That's our only research. Who went to Kentucky?
Who's in the player
All right.
pool of Kentucky? All right.
Yeah. Okay. Good choice. Definitely a good player. Yeah. The first year, Whiteside was there, and I think it was really, stunting his growth, Bam's growth. But he did show a lot of good possibilities. So when Whiteside was traded, Bam came on the scene and just dominated. Hopefully, everybody got an opportunity to pick up Bam Bam. Not everybody got it, but that would have been a great pickup in fantasy for sure, and it ended up being down there. So
how was he in college? Because he wasn't like even mentioned as a top 10 pick.
One thing that I liked about Bam in college, whenever I watched him, was he gets to the free throw line, and for a big man, he knocks him down. And and he's had some really highlight plays at the end of games where you're like, wow, he just really came on and really took that challenge to really get the last second shot, or really dominate down the post when they really needed a point and a bucket. But whenever he got to the line, it was always almost a guarantee that he would knock down that free throw shot. For a big guy, that's something we didn't see for a long time. You got the Dwight Howards and DeAndre Jordan, so that was good to see. I liked him in college, but of course, all these players out of Kentucky, whenever they play in college, you don't really get to see their full potential because they have to share the court with four other all-stars basically. So you really, anything you see in college, if they stand out in Kentucky in college, when they get to the league, they're really going to stand out because they're fighting for that time with everybody else.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So we're looking at my choice here. So you already got Jimmy Butler. I already got Tyler Hero, Bam Adebayo, Duncan Robinson, and Kendrick Nunn. There is some slim pickings here. I really can't see, in my personal opinion, picking Andre Iguodala with that $15 million contract next year and then another $15 million contract the following year. He hasn't really shown anything to me. How is he going to be outside of Golden State? We don't really know. We haven't really seen it. I think that's just for his age at 36 years old. LeBron at 35 is one thing, or 36 is one thing, but Andre Iguodala. So I really can't pick Andre Iguodala. In my personal opinion, Kelly Olynyk is their only big backup that they have. I'm not going to pick him. I'm just going to say that right now. I'm not going to pick him as a keeper. Kelly Olynyk is they have him because they need another big backup to get Bam some time on the bench. But in all honesty, he's not the player that he was in the past, and I don't see him getting back to that, honestly. So I'm not big on him. If anybody that you're going to pick, it's going to be between Akpala and Chris Silva. Those are the only two that are left. And to be honest with you, I don't know a whole lot about those two. Whenever you're looking at the team itself and what they need, I mean, they're both on the same contract at $1.5 million next year and $1.7 the following year. If you guys are big on one of those two guys, go ahead and pick them. I'd be fine with letting them go to the player pool. So I'm going to go ahead and put a skip or a pass on this one. What do you guys think?
I like Akpala.
Yeah.
I like Silva.
What do you like about those guys?
Akpala was really good in college. He was supposed to be a first-round pick. They actually were thinking about playing him, have a role for him, and then he got hurt. He never really got to play. He had a few big, good games in the summer league and in the preseason, but again, injury happened and he just never recovered from it. And then you saw Kendrick Nunn kind of steal his thunder, Duncan Robinson steal his thunder, and then Tyler Hero started the season off on fire. At the time, they had so many people. Waiters wasn't. I think he was off the rails at that time.
Yeah, that guy was having issues for sure.
And they had Justice Winslow, so he kind of buried himself with injuries. But I like him going forward.
Yeah, I like Chris Silva. I mean, he came in and played some minutes. He's a big man, for 1.7, and he's 23 years old. That's definitely worth keeping him.
Okay, so let me throw some stats at you guys here. So Silva played 41 games for the Miami Heat last year. He didn't start any of them. He only played 7 minutes per game, and he averaged 2.9 points, 2.7 rebounds. That was his stats. So for Okpala, it was 5 games that he played for the Miami Heat. No starts. He averaged 7 points in those 5 games, 5 total rebounds, 1 assist, and 2 steals and 1 block. It looks like the guy has some potential for
they're both
forward.
potential. You know, it's all about potential with these two, and they're making peanuts. So
might
as well.
It really comes down to might as well keep them.
Yeah,
both of them.
I think,
are we all in agreement that Iguodala and Olynyk needs to go to the player pool?
Yeah, they can go. I mean, I like Iggy, but I know I'm going to get some backdrop on that, so he can go.
Well, I think Iggy should go because when he came, he seemed to slow the production of Hero and Nunn also. So not only was he not playing good, he slowed their role down because they're like, we got to get Iggy minutes. So I definitely think that basically was a bad trade, you know.
Jay Crowder came too, and he's been playing. He played a lot for them, and he's actually really good for them.
Yeah, he was.
So there's our player pool players for the Miami Heat. We got Andre Iguodala and Olynyk both with over $10 million contracts for the next year or two. So
Olynyk, I kind of that's all I got.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So moving on. So we got the player pool for the Lakers. We got the player pool now for the Miami Heat. We're moving on now, going into the Minnesota Timberwolves. So the Minnesota Timberwolves are going to be our next team on the docket for our player pool. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 players that are under contract for 2021. We got 1, 2, 3 that are not under contract that are currently on the roster. And that's Evan Turner, who's not under contract. He'll be a free agent next year. Juan Hernangomez and Malik Beasley. Those are the 3 that are going to be free agents next year. They're not going to be able to be protected in here. So we got quite a few players that we can look at.
Quite a few.
Yeah, and quite a few big money players too.
And then I don't think we're not counting McLaughlin and Keelan Martin, right?
No, because they're 2 players.
Yeah.
So they'll probably just get dropped down to the G League to protect them whenever the draft occurs. Basically, is I think how the 2 ways are going to work.
Oh, technically, I know this throws a wrench in everything we did, but the NBA with their new rule is going to let teams transfer 2-way players into full contracts because of the whole this season. Yeah. So it kind of threw a wrench into everything we did up until now. Thinking about it, but we should leave it as is because we're already this deep.
They're not that important that they would shift anything really.
McLaughlin played well.
Well, I think you're up on this one, Minnesota. You're number 1 pick.
All right, I think I go with the heart and soul of the team, Karl Anthony Towns. He's only 24 years old. I mean, I had to go ahead and kill the suspense. It seems like he's 26, 27, but 24 years old, making under $30 million next year, then 31, 33, 35, worth every penny. And I mean, if things don't work out, you always can trade him and get a ton back. And of course, he's from Kentucky. But I should have let you take him, Doug. But yeah, I mean, when you think of the Minnesota Timberwolves, you think of Karl Anthony Towns.
Right, exactly. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I forgot my camera's not on. I was doing it. I don't know. It's not working. I don't know what's going on. These technical difficulties. But I was gonna say great keeper, and then I started doing who I was about to pick a little meme of something downloading. That's who I'm picking. DAngelo Russell.
Guy.
They pretty much traded everyone. They got rid of their whole roster for this guy and got some nice pieces back like Malik Beasley and Hernangomez. But the whole season kind of went from, they might get Russell. They might get Russell to Towns got hurt and Towns got pissed and they need to get Russell. They need to get Russell. Then they got him. And then Towns got hurt again. And I can't wait to see them play next year together. These two guys are best friends on and off the court. It's going to be fun.
24 years old also.
And an all-star last year. And Will, where did he used to play somewhere that we're familiar with. And I'm kind of pissed that we got rid of him.
Yeah, all because of Swaggy P.
Yeah, Swaggy P. We had to
I
sign
followed,
Timothy Mozgov.
I followed D'Lo for quite a while. For those who don't know, DAngelo Russell is actually from Louisville, Kentucky. Hey, looky there.
What does
From
everybody
Louisville,
who plays
Kentucky.
basketball have
I know
a tie
every
to?
NBA player.
We are
Some point
a
in their
big
life.
basketball. We are the basketball belt of the country. I'm telling you guys. But yeah, he played in Louisville, Kentucky. So I've been following D'Lo for a long time. He went from there. He went down to Florida to play in high school. Down with Ben Simmons, and him and Ben Simmons were really close friends back then, and they played high school together on the same team. And then whenever Ben Simmons went to Louisiana to not go to school, DAngelo Russell went to Ohio State, which, like I said, my wife's from Akron, and all her family's huge Ohio fans. So, of course, I followed and watched him there too. So DAngelo Russell, I think I've always said he's going to be a great player. It's just LA didn't work out for him. And ever since he's left LA, I think he's done really well. Did really good in Brooklyn. I think that last summer they talked about wanting to get him into Minnesota really bad, and at the last minute, Golden State actually scooped him up on a free agency contract and got him. Or actually, it was a trade, I think. At that
Trade for KD.
But yeah, a trade. Yeah, so they got him on that trade, and Minnesota kind of was a little upset. Karl Anthony Towns was upset, but they worked really hard to get him back in Minnesota, and I'm glad they did. The two best friends are back together again, and like Santino said, it's going to be a great thing to see them play next year, and their dynamic.
Quit stalling, Doug. Who you got?
All right, geez. Well, you picked my guy, DAngelo Russell. I had a lot to talk about.
Is Devin Booker next? Dun 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 dun.
Should be.
No, to get the Wolves.
To get to Minnesota. He ain't doing anything down in Phoenix. Well, he is, but the rest of the team isn't. So, yeah. I'm going to pick a player that is young. Yeah, I know. Who you got? I'm going to pick a player that's pretty young in Jarrett Culver. I think Jarrett Culver has a good possibility. He's a good two-guard. He's young. He's got a lot of potential. The team really did well by picking him up. He played 63 games for the Timberwolves last year. 35 of those he actually started. His total points was 580 points. He averaged 3.9 points for 36 minutes. So I think he's got a lot of potential to go in there and play next to DAngelo Russell and Karl Anthony Towns. So I'm going to pick up him. He's got $6 million for the next 2 years, and then $8 million in 2022 as his contract. So he was a first-round pick. I think they did a good choice. I'm gonna say Jarrett Culver is my keeper for the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Yep. No question.
Yeah, they got
a lot of potential. Yeah. Isn't he the one that dunked on? He dunked on Robin Lopez, right?
Yeah. Then Lopez came to fight him.
Caveman.
Yeah.
Dude, he looks scary. He freaked out.
He's like, "What's wrong with this guy?"
What's wrong?
That's funny.
Like, does he know who I am?
Right. I'm gonna go with Nas Reed. He's only 20 years old, making chump change, under $2 million for the next 3 years. Showed great potential to be at worst a good backup center. At best, he can play along with Towns, or if they trade Towns, whatever. He's definitely worth keeping.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And I get what you mean, but I wish I had 1.5 million. I don't know if I could.
Oh, yeah, right.
No, I'm just messing with you.
NBA money, chump change.
It's so funny how it's crazy how that's chump change in the NBA. $1 million. For me, there's a couple guys, but I don't want this guy to get lost in the shuffle. I'm going to take Jared Vanderbilt, another guy that came over in a trade, really relatively unknown in that big Denver trade that had 87 million and a half people transfer throughout multiple teams. This guy's he got talent, and I think he could play with Anthony Towns. I don't know if we'll get a lot of minutes because they might bring back Hernan Gomez as well and whatnot. But I think Vanderbilt is a young, big guy with potential, and he's not going to cost you. He's only going to cost you chump change moving forward.
21 years old. Wow. Yeah.
All right, so you got Jared Vanderbilt. I'm sorry, Jared Vanderbilt. Let's see. I'm going to go with, so looking at the minutes played for all these players, James Johnson is really high up there at 24.1 with a 12-point average. His contract, though, at 33 years old and what he's doing for this team, at 16 mil. I cannot get behind that. I just can't get behind that contract. I'm going to go with a little cheaper. I'm going to go with Josh Okogie, 21-year-old, $2 million next year and $4 million the following year. I think Okogie really has the opportunity to do well on this team, much like Culver. I think he has a great possibility to play behind these guys and with these guys for the long term. So again, like Naz Reid, he's young. He's got a lot of potential. We just got to see it. So I'm going to say Josh Okogie.
Will, I'm surprised you didn't say anything about Vanderbilt and where he played in college. Yeah, I was waiting for you to say something. I think you already got your 85 UK shout outs out. But
right.
I was waiting for another one.
There's so many of them. You know?
They're everywhere.
Yeah, we are.
I mean, the rest of the guys to me are all potential guys because I wouldn't keep James Johnson either. So you have Jacob Evans, Amari Spellman, who they didn't even use once they got him in the trade, and Jalen Noel.
Mm-hmm.
I can leave all of them. And Jake Layman. Jake Layman also. Jake Layman. All these guys, I have not seen much get much playing time. You know, so you can go by the age, you can go by the contract. What do you think, Santino?
Yeah, they're all they're all younger on the younger side. They're all making, as we like to say, chump change. I think Jacob Evans Jake Layman at 3.7 is the highest paid of the group, and then everybody else is 2 million and under. So yeah, and I'm glad you guys didn't keep James Johnson. I could have, when I was looking at the teams before and putting it down, I put him on my not list, but I had a feeling someone was going to keep him. I'm glad we're all in agreement. I don't know.
Contract is just a little bit much. He did great filling in when they needed to. And he's played well for them. I just can't get behind that contract, man.
It's too much, and they can sign someone. I mean, like Will said, everybody has a little bit of potential, different types of potential. But I wouldn't mind keeping 2 of them, or I wouldn't mind letting them all go to the player pool.
We've got 6 players that we've kept so far from this team. So we can keep another 2, or we can let all those named players go into the player pool.
I'm fine either way. More players in the player pool, or people get kept. I'm okay with either.
Yeah, I say add them to the player pool. That gives the player pool a larger sum. And really, when it comes down to this team, and actually the general manager and the president of basketball ops and all them, they're going to look at what they have seen for potential, what their plans going forward is, and what the team chemistry is between all these guys. And to be honest, 3 of us sitting here in Hoop Ball headquarters, we don't know the chemistry behind these guys, and the team chemistry. So
Jake Layman, he did start the season as the starting small forward. It didn't last long. He got hurt and he never came back. But I know if they were going to keep someone, it would be him because they liked him more. But I mean, he can go in the player pool.
Yeah, I agree.
We can keep him if you want. I mean, I'm fine with keeping him too because I mean that's a good contract if they expected him to be the starter. I like Amari Spellman, what he did in Golden State, but it was just weird to me when he got to Minnesota. They didn't even use him.
They didn't have a spot for him. Yeah, just like he was just
a
filler.
Lack of talent.
All right, so I think that's what we're going to roll with for the Timberwolves. So moving on to Zion, Team Zion here. All right, so Team Zion, and I think I've got the pick here. So I'm going to go with their franchise player of Zion Williamson. I think Zion's going to be around for a long time. I think he's a great choice.
Not a UK player.
Not a UK player. You're correct. In fact, he played for another team named Duke. And you know what the best part about Duke is?
UK in the middle.
The 2 middle letters. That's right. UK.
Oh my goodness.
The heart and soul.
And I take every chance to tell him that.
Well, Duke is my rival at Carolina, so we hate Duke in Carolina.
Yep.
But I'm gonna go with
is that a bad dad joke?
It just depends on the day. The next guy is the easy pick, but I'm gonna leave him for Santino because he was your guy. So I'm gonna go with Jackson Hayes. The young rookie center, 20 years old, like he's a baby out there. And but when everyone was hurt, he showed a lot of potential, and I was surprised. First of all, they took him so high in the draft because it's like, why are you drafting a big, tall, skinny guy That's not what the league is right now. But when he got in there, he put up really good numbers and showed great potential. So I'm gonna go with Jackson Hayes.
He can really run the floor for a big man too, and that's what you need to do in today's day and age. I can't stretch the floor yet. That might come in time as we've seen all these big guys work on it. But he can really run the floor and protect the paint, which is.
And that team is so fast. They can run the floor.
There's only 9 guys available in this team. To me, I think you'd keep 8, so it's going to be tough. But this team is awesome.
Yeah,
and there's a lot of good young talent here. Yeah, a lot of good young talent. And if it's my pick, I don't know. Will, you were talking about someone, and you said he's very talented again. Doug, did you hear that? I'm pretty sure he complimented someone again. And if it was the guy that maybe he was talking about Drew Holiday, I don't know. But if it wasn't Drew Holiday and it was this guy, Lonzo Ball, who I'm going to pick, I'm confused. Where you stand at him? You hate him?
It slipped my mind that Brandon Ingram was a free agent coming up next year. I was talking about Brandon Ingram, okay?
Oh, yeah. Good.
Brandon Ingram actually went down to Kinston. He lived in Kinston. Came out of Kinston.
Is that Kentucky?
It is actually in North Carolina. It was about a 10-minute drive from the military base I was stationed at, and
oh wow!
I didn't get the chance to see him play out there, but he was right near there, and a lot of people loved him in that area, of course.
Yeah.
So, but he's
going to get paid next year.
He's going to get paid, but who's going to get paid by? You think he's going to try and stay with New Orleans?
Well, I think they have he's an unrestricted, so they can match whatever he gets. He's going to accept whoever gives him the biggest contract, but they have the chance to match him. And I think they should. Their team is. They're so exciting and young to watch.
I might want to leave if I was him.
And start his own, or maybe he wants to go to Seattle and be the guy. Or to Kentucky and be the guy.
I just say because when Zion was out, it was all about Brandon Ingram. Then when Zion came back, you heard nothing else about Ingram. It's Zion's team, like you said. As soon as we got to the Pelicans, the Zion Pelicans, basically. That's right. I think he was the all-star. Brandon Ingram, he gets no love. So I would.
Yeah, he did fall to third because Lonzo's still there. And I know you love Lonzo. It was a great catch that you
go ahead. Look, you picked Lonzo, right?
We know.
Let me interrupt your Lonzo love. Go ahead, Santino.
Yeah, really. We had to get rid of him to get Anthony Davis. I would trade anybody on that team, obviously, but LeBron. But I really like Lonzo Ball. I wish he didn't come with his dad when the Lakers had him. But now that you don't really
now about his dad and stunting the possibilities for Melo now.
Yeah, I know you're high on Melo. Lonzo severed ties with him and his play picked up coincidentally, and now he's on to Melo. So he might be doing the same thing. It might be a vicious cycle repeating itself.
Well, no surprise here with my pick. I'm going to go with the top paid player on the team, the player that the Pelicans were going to build around from day one when Anthony Davis left, and that's Drew Holiday. $26 million for next year and $27 million the following year. I think that's about the right payment for him, to be honest with you. I don't know that he deserves much more than that, but I think the $26 million is a good payment for him. So I think that we're going to him, and Drew Holiday will be my pick for the New Orleans Pelicans.
I don't think he deserves too much more than that or too much less than that. I like you said, I think that's perfect for him. Anywhere from 20 to 30 million. This guy he's one of the premier guard defenders in the league, premier perimeter defenders in the league. He turned into a great passer. He can shoot the ball. He can drive. He can pretty much do everything on the court. He's a really good player.
Yeah, and the best of two brothers.
Right.
Way better. I will say, I don't know if you guys listen to the Up and Smoke podcast with Steven Jackson and Matt Barnes, but they have interviewed every player they have interviewed. They ask who is the most underrated player. They all have said Drew Holiday. As a fan, he may not be putting up spectacular numbers or whatever, but players that play against him talk about how great he is that people don't know, people don't realize. Because it may not be flashy or whatever. So, I think he could be worth more than that. He's clearly more valuable in person, in game, affecting both sides of the court.
Yeah. Well, sometimes hate to say it, but contracts are off the court stuff too, and how much you can market a team to. I mean, if you're getting paid $30 million and you're raking in $170 million for the team every year, it's worth it. So it's the side of the sports that we don't always talk about.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So for my next pick, I'm gonna go with a guy I had high hopes of being Rookie of the Year contender this year, and Nikhil Alexander Walker. That's Shea Gilgeous. How do you say his name? I haven't heard it in so long. SGH
for a long time.
Right.
Shea Gilgeous Alexander.
Yeah, Shea Gilgeous Alexander's cousin. So he's clearly in the bloodlines. And, he was a lottery pick, 21 years old, and he showed a lot of promise in summer league too. But when the season started, it's like they wanted to,
wasn't enough minutes.
Proceed with caution. Yeah, it wasn't enough minutes for him. They had Josh Hart and all these other shooting guards, but I think they should have just threw him in the fire, especially without Zion there. But I'm excited to see his future. I think he's going to have some potential and talent to do big things and eventually become a starting shooting guard.
Yeah, if he gets the minutes, this dude gets buckets in a hurry, in a flurry. He can heat up in seconds. So I really like him going forward when he does find a spot.
In the future. What are you talking about, Drew Holiday? Where's he going to go to the 3?
I think.
Well, it's every year it's talked about. Honestly. It's always talks about him being traded.
Yeah, unfortunately, which the disrespect there.
Yeah.
All right, Santino, who you got here for your pick for the New Orleans Pelicans?
Going with a guy who has some rings to him in the college game, and I brought him up earlier. I'll go with Josh Hart. I just like this guy. He's probably the best rebounding guard in the league. Very tough defender. He's very gritty. He can shoot. He can pass. He can do a lot of different things. Not anything besides rebounding too great, but he's not bad in many areas. And for a guy making $3 million and young, and you can mold him and he can play off the ball, on the ball, off the bench in the starting lineup. I mean, he's a great role player.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, he was playing incredible at the beginning of the season. He was a fantasy stud, and then he got banged up, and then a lot of guys got back healthy, and then he just slipped into averageness. But I think he should have got more minutes this year, in my opinion.
Agreed. And he's always that bulldog that people talk about. He'll go out there and he'll knock them down whenever the time comes. He's grit and grind. Never gets a high five or a handshake, but he's always on the court.
Every team, both teams he's played on, it's like been loaded at his position, and he's not been able to get the minutes he deserves. It's weird.
Right, exactly.
And he was awesome in Villanova. I had to throw that out there. Yeah. It's not a Kentucky team. We have to get non-Kentucky guys some love.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, he was great on the championship. So, yeah, absolutely some championship bloodline for sure. All right, so I'm going to go with a player that is on this team from another country, and that's Nico Melli. Nicola Melli. I was really happy with what I saw from him whenever he stepped in and hitting down some three-pointers as a big guy and stretching the floor a lot. 6.8 points he's averaging at only 17.1 minutes per game. But he stretches the floor, and that's what this team needs, to be able to allow Zion to get to the bucket, to be able to allow Lonzo to do his thing and that court vision. And he can really pull out centers and big guys out to the end and hit the three. So I'm going to say Nicola Melli. He's got a contract next year of $4 million, and then he's a free agent after that. But I think that he'll be a pretty good keeper for this team.
Yeah, at that price, you can't beat that.
He's pretty good. I mean, this team is just – they all have good players. They're just so young. Mm-hmm. They started to hit their stride right before everything happened, and that was probably because Lonzo. He's in my head so much I can't even say Zion's name now.
Put some respect on it.
Right. Maybe the Lakers. Maybe the Lakers will sign the other brother, and you'll be happy about that, Santino.
No, I don't want him. I know Doug really likes him. I'm Alonzo.
No, not the
Jello.
Yeah, the other one.
Jello got picked up with the OKC Thunder of Blue, the D-League team.
G-League team, yeah.
Yeah, and he got picked up on the 9th of March, and the 11th of March is when all this coronavirus happened. So Jello.
I was interested to see him play. Yeah,
absolutely. I think he's going to be okay in the G League.
I think he just play like a puddle of Jello. You could just slice right through him and it'll fall right apart.
We'll see what
Okay.
happens. Watch that game.
Enough big baller brand talk. We're gonna go to this is the 8th pick, right?
This is
the last pick.
Yeah. I think I have to choose between JJ Redick, Darius Miller, or no one. And I'm gonna say keep JJ Redick. You know, I think he's a key important piece to teams.
$13 next year.
Yeah, I mean, you kept Danny Green for 15. They're kind of like the same player. I do think he would be better on a different team, but I think it's worth it for them to keep him and possibly trade him as opposed to just letting him go. Because, like, if you talk to Doc Rivers, he will fight you to keep JJ Redick on his team. Like, he's a very vital player to teams. And like you said, 3-point shooting is not easy to find. So I would say for 13, they can afford that one more year.
Yeah, if we were, I raised my hands in triumph when you said it. If you said no one, I was going to cause an anarchy. We need JJ Redick. Like we said at Duncan Robinson, if you could shoot, this guy could still shoot with the best of them. If you can shoot in this league, you have a spot on every team. What is he? He's shooting 45% from the 3-point at 35 years old this year.
If we're talking $8 million, I'd probably agree with y'all. But at $13 million, I find it hard to do. But 2 against 1, so we'll roll with it.
When you think about it, their best players, Zion, Lonzo, Jackson Hayes, take out Brandon Ingram and Drew Holiday. No one else is making money here. So
yeah, they have the money.
And it's only 1 year after this, so it's not like they're loaded up on them.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Oh, wait. I see why Doug's upset. Darius Miller went to Kentucky. That's why he's upset.
Okay. Now we get it.
To be honest with you, though, I was like in your third choice, Will, of no one. I think wouldn't have been a pick either. He did great in college. He was a good role player, and he kind of dove off. So I would have said no one, your third pick. I'd put JJ Redick in the player pool. But, hey, you guys decided to keep him, so there we go. So
they need someone with playoff experience outside Drew Holiday. Right?
Yeah, for sure.
I do think it would be better for the team, like the younger players, if he wasn't there. But you have to keep him, maybe trade him.
If you want Josh Hart to get some play time, JJ Redick going to the player pool will definitely give him that.
Yeah. They'll keep him and trade him. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
$14 million, you gotta keep your most consistent 3-point threat.
Yeah.
Right. All right, guys. So there we have it. Another episode of the NBA Tonight live stream, breaking down the player pool protections for 4 teams on our rosters for the expansion draft coming up. We thank everybody for watching. You guys, make sure you guys leave some comments down below on the YouTube site. Get on here and ask some questions next time. Interact with us a little bit. We'd love to hear it from you guys. Again, you can find us on Twitter at Kentucky Pro Basketball. You can find Will at William is Bill and Santino at Santino Cacone. Make sure you guys follow us down below at those Twitter accounts, and we'll see you guys next week.
Well, also, I want to say, normally we having a lot of talent when we trimming these teams down. Today, not so much. KCP might be the best player in the player pool today, so that was just interesting to see. So we'll see what we come up with next week.
Yeah, make sure you guys are following Hoopball on Instagram. Will's doing a really good job with that. I'm noticing a lot of posts on Instagram, so make sure you're following Hoopball on Instagram. And all of this right now is free. Yeah, all this is free for our guys, for you guys to watch. But soon we'll be doing the premium channel stuff, so make sure you guys sign up for Hoopball. Keep in contact with us all, and we'll see you next time. Santino, you got anything to say before we head out?
Sorry about the technical difficulties, but I think we did a pretty good job besides that. Besides my fault.
I think so.
Yeah, well, your audio came in 100% clear.
Great show, guys. We'll see you guys next week. Take care, guys. Find us at hoopball.com.